Grammar Lesson 4.1, the verb ir. Today's grammar lesson is very short and sweet, but it's also very important, so make sure you take good notes today. The verb ir simply means to go. Here are your 6 conjugations of the verb ir. Yo voy, tú vas, él, ella, or usted va, nosotros vamos, vosotros vais, ellos, ellas, or ustedes van. You'll notice that the conjugations of this verb do not look anything like the infinitive form of the verb. And that's what makes ir a little bit tricky, and it's definitely an irregular verb for this reason. If you can kind of remember, though, that ir follows a similar pattern to AR verbs, except for the yo form, voy, doesn't really match any of the AR verb patterns. And the vosotros form is a little different because there's no accent over the A, but you'll notice all the other forms look like an AR conjugated verb. So if you can kind of get that in your mind, hopefully that can help you memorize these 6 verb forms. Here are a couple of examples of how you might use the word or the verb ir in a sentence. Yo voy a la escuela. This can mean 3 things. It can mean I go to the school, I do go to the school, I am going to the school. Now, when we first started talking about verbs, I told you that each time you conjugate a verb, it can mean these 3 things. I do that verb, I do that verb, I am doing that verb. Okay, so this is more important for you to remember when you take that statement and turn it into a question. So for example, if you wanted to ask, Yo voy a la escuela. Am I going to the school or do I go to the school? It's important to remember you don't need to put an extra word in there for do or am when it's in the sentence form. So if you can try to memorize that the sentence as a statement means these 3 things, that will help you in turning it into a question as well. Let's look at another example. Tú vas al banco. This can mean 3 things as well. You go to the bank, you do go to the bank, you are going to the bank. Now you'll notice when I say to the, I use the word al. Remember, al is just a shortened word. It's kind of like a Spanish contraction of the words a and el, which would be to the or at the. You'll only make this contraction when the that you're using is modifying a masculine noun, like banco. When it's modifying a feminine noun, like escuela, you stick with a, la, and those 2 words are not combined. Something that's really cool about the verb ir is that we can use this verb to help us talk about things in the future. And this is called the simple future tense, which expresses that someone is going to do something. There's a formula that we use, and that's ir plus a plus an infinitive verb. So the ir will be conjugated to match your subject. A is simply just the letter A by itself, and then you'll leave the next verb in the infinitive form. Let's look at a couple of examples. Yo voy a bailar would mean I'm going to dance. You'll notice that I have ir conjugated in the yo form, so that's why it's yo voy. Then I have the word a, and then I have the infinitive verb to dance, bailar. Here's another example. Tú vas a venir. You're going to come. Él va a cantar. He's going to sing. ¿Quién va a ganar? Who's going to win? Remember, whenever quién, who is your subject, you conjugate in the él, ella, usted form of the verb. Ustedes van a tener prisa. You guys are going to be in a hurry. This is using the tener expression, tener prisa, which you learned about in your last lesson. Okay, those are all the examples I have for you now. We will be practicing this more in class, but make sure you know the 6 conjugations of the verb ir, as well as the formula for using the simple future tense.